What triggers a Sigma female to quickly switch from calm to intense? It's all part of her inherent character. She's typically quiet, watching the world with a cool, detached air, always thinking, always strategizing. She lives life by her own rules, unaffected by what society expects, and doesn't chase the constant approval others crave. Unlike alphas, who are all about showing who's boss, or betas, who look for others' acceptance, she stands alone, self-reliant, independent, and extremely private. To outsiders she might look uninterested or detached, but don't be fooled. Her quietness isn't a sign of weakness, it's control. And when this control is tested, when people overstep her personal limits, disregard her respect, or wrongly assume her quiet nature means submission, things change quickly. Sigma females avoid drama. They don't get involved in petty squabbles or emotional scenes. Their energy is too precious for insignificant disputes. But this doesn't mean they're easy targets. In fact, they're the last ones you'd want to provoke. While others might react on impulse to disrespect, a Sigma female pauses. She assesses. She plans. Her actions aren't just spontaneous reactions, they are powerful statements. She doesn't meet hostility with blind aggression like some might. Instead, she tactfully dismantles challenging situations, shocking those who underestimated her. She doesn't argue. She simply steps away. She doesn't lash back with words. She lets her achievements speak for her. She doesn't plead for fairness. She crafts her life so no one can twist her arm again. When her personal space is invaded, when someone tries to dominate her, when disrespect is aimed at her, she doesn't crumble. She acts. And her actions aren't always noisy or noticeable. Sometimes her fierce response is quiet, barely seen at first. A cold glance, a subtle smile, or her simple withdrawal that leaves the aggressor baffled and flustered, suddenly realizing they can't tap into her strength anymore. Other times, her response is as quick as a flash of lightning, a firm decision that cuts ties, reveals falsehoods, or changes her situation to her advantage. She doesn't beg for loyalty. She doesn't debate over respect. She doesn't struggle to maintain her position in anyone's life. If she detects dishonesty, she walks away. If she spots manipulation, she keeps her distance. If someone oversteps, she ensures it's the last time they do. Those who confuse her patience with indifference are always shocked, because a Sigma female doesn't just distance herself from those who wrong her, she rises above them. She uses their betrayal as fuel, their disrespect as a lesson, their manipulation as a guide. And by the time they realize their loss, it's already too late. She has moved on, stronger than before, utterly unaffected by those who once thought they could influence her. This is what makes a Sigma female formidable when she's pushed, silent, strategic, and utterly overwhelming. Sigma females are among the most uncommon personality types, profoundly independent, exceptionally smart, and emotionally distant. They don't conform to standard social roles and don't attempt to. Unlike alphas who desire to lead, or betas who look for others' validation, Sigma females carve their own paths, free from societal pressures. They aren't motivated by the need to impress, nor do they feel the need to fit in. Instead, they silently master their lives, requiring no one's approval. Their autonomy is their power, and their intellect makes them nearly invulnerable to deception. However, despite their capabilities, most people don't see them coming. In a world where loudness is often mistaken for strength, the quiet demeanor of a Sigma female is wrongly seen as weakness. People often think that because she doesn't quickly react, she lacks the courage to defend herself. They assume that because she's reserved, she's scared to confront those who mistreat her. Big error. A Sigma female isn't feeble. She's observant. She picks up on every nuance, noticing changes in behavior, tone, and atmosphere. She senses schemes before they unfold. She avoids unnecessary drama and definitely doesn't partake in trivial disputes. But that doesn't mean she won't act when it's needed. When a Sigma female is treated poorly, she doesn't just react on impulse like many others might. Instead, she thinks things through. She stays calm and doesn't let her feelings drive her actions. Rather than reacting right away when upset, she takes a step back to think about the situation. She asks herself if it's really worth her time, if there's a smarter way to handle it, or how she can turn it to her benefit. While others might just react, she's busy planning her next move. When she acts, it's not only to protect herself, but also to make a strong point. If she faces disrespect, she doesn't stick around to argue. She simply removes herself from the situation, making the other person feel her absence strongly. If someone tries to trick her, she doesn't argue. She waits for their tricks to catch up with them. If betrayed, she doesn't seek revenge, but instead moves on so quickly that the betrayer becomes unimportant. What makes her truly powerful is that she doesn't spend her energy on those who don't deserve it. She stays composed and thinks ahead. When she does choose to take action, she does so with exactness and strength. People often regret underestimating her quiet nature. The truth is, a Sigma female doesn't need to shout or be aggressive to show her strength. Her silence is powerful, her smarts protect her, and her choice to leave situations that don't benefit her anymore makes her unbeatable. The next time someone thinks a Sigma female's quietness is a sign of weakness, they should think again. She's not ignoring the issue, she's carefully analyzing it. And when she decides to act, she leaves no room for second chances. Sigma females are often misunderstood. Their quiet confidence, independence, and ability to manage their emotions set them apart, and this can confuse others. Because they don't crave attention, openly show their emotions, or follow what everyone else does, people might wrongly see them as distant or unfeeling. However, this isn't true. A Sigma female isn't uncaring, unfeeling, or harsh. In fact, she might feel more deeply than most. The difference is, she doesn't let her emotions rule her or let others take advantage of her. One common myth is that Sigma females just don't care because they don't always show their feelings openly. Some people see their calmness as indifference, thinking they are disconnected from the world. But this is far from the truth. Sigma females actually care a lot. They are very observant, thoughtful, and can feel very deeply. They seem distant not because they don't have feelings, but because they are very careful about showing them. Unlike those who openly display their emotions, Sigma females choose carefully who they open up to. They don't bother explaining their feelings to those who won't understand. Instead, they think things over internally before they respond. When a Sigma female cares about someone, her dedication is intense and genuine. She looks for realness in her relationships, whether they're romantic, friendly, or professional. She doesn't settle for shallow interactions or deal with people who drain her energy. This is why she might seem distant, because she only spends her emotional energy on those who have truly earned her trust. Many people think Sigma females are unemotional or detached because they remain calm when others might react without thinking. In difficult situations like betrayal or disrespect, a Sigma female doesn't show anger or cry instantly. Instead, she thinks carefully about what to do next. This controlled reaction can seem strange to some because they expect immediate emotional responses like anger or tears when someone is wronged. However, A Sigma female behaves differently. She doesn't feel the need to display her feelings to prove anything. She thinks deeply about the situation and responds in a way that is thoughtful and effective. Her calmness in stressful times isn't because she doesn't feel emotions. It's because she has strong self-discipline. She understands that reacting quickly can sometimes give the other person an advantage. By staying calm, she keeps control of the situation and herself. Since Sigma females don't follow typical social norms, they are often seen as aloof, antisocial, or even proud. People think that if they don't always seek social approval, they must not care about others. But in reality, a Sigma female is secure without needing others' approval. Some might think they don't enjoy socializing, but that's not true. Sigma females are selective about their social interactions. They avoid small talk and don't need to be constantly around others. This doesn't mean they dislike people. They just prefer meaningful conversations over casual chatting. They find their energy in solitude as much as in deep, thoughtful discussions. They don't require constant social interaction to feel complete. In fact, too much superficial socializing can exhaust them. When a Sigma female lets someone into her life, she is incredibly loyal and caring. She chooses quality over quantity in her relationships, often having just a few close friends. To these friends, she is very connected and supportive. What's the truth? Sigma females are not without emotions. They just manage them well. They are not cold. They are careful with their energy. They are not distant. They just avoid superficial relationships. They are not harsh. They simply don't tolerate harmful behavior from others. A Sigma female stands out as a strong, smart, and true individual. She might not meet everyone's expectations, but that is what makes her remarkable. Sigma females are known for their serene, composed demeanor. They avoid drama and unnecessary conflict and don't indulge in pointless interactions. Yet, this doesn't mean they are passive or accept disrespect. When their boundaries are crossed, they don't respond with visible emotion like many might. Instead, they carefully plan their next steps, and their actions are direct, decisive, and often unexpected. One sure way to see a Sigma female's assertive side is through betrayal. While betrayal is painful and others might try to understand or forgive, a Sigma female moves on quickly. She doesn't linger on seeking explanations or apologies. She ends relationships swiftly and without fuss. No second chances, no justifications, just a decisive end. Betrayal can take many forms: lies, dishonesty, disloyalty, or manipulation. Where many might try to forgive, a Sigma female sticks to her principles of trust and loyalty. She doesn't maintain a large circle of friends, and those she does let in are carefully chosen. So, when trust is broken, she doesn't waste time on arguments or emotional scenes. When a Sigma female is betrayed, it's like turning off a light switch. As soon as she knows she's been deceived or taken advantage of, she completely shuts off her emotions. She doesn't seek revenge in usual ways. You won't hear her shouting, see dramatic scenes, or witness her trying to make the betrayer realize their mistake. Instead, she simply steps back from the situation, leaving the other person baffled. They won't receive a detailed message explaining her actions. They won't have a chance to say sorry or defend their actions. One day they are part of her life. The next day they are gone as if they never existed. This silent treatment is what makes her reactions so harsh. The first thing a Sigma female does after being betrayed is to stop all communication. While many might argue or want an explanation, a Sigma female remains quiet. She trusts that deeds carry more weight than words, and her quiet presence conveys everything needed. The lack of reaction is more disturbing than any words could be. Those who have wronged her might try to reach out, apologize, or explain themselves, but they'll only meet silence, a complete void where she once was. A Sigma female doesn't dwell on the betrayal. She doesn't spend nights crying or thinking about what went wrong. Instead, she coldly and decisively cuts the person out of her life and moves forward without looking back. She blocks phone numbers, erases messages, deletes photos, and continues as though that person never existed. This level of detachment surprises people the most. They think she might still feel something because she cared before, but they don't realize how completely she can let go. For a Sigma female, once the trust is broken, the relationship is beyond repair. A Sigma female doesn't just remove people from her life, she flourishes without them. Unlike others who might fall into sadness after a betrayal, a Sigma female turns the betrayal into motivation. She focuses all her energy on her personal development, her goals, and her dreams. The most striking part of her response to betrayal is that she doesn't waste time on revenge. She becomes so successful, so independent, and so unreachable that the betrayer only realizes their loss when it's too late. By then, she's already far ahead, emotionally, mentally, and perhaps financially. She doesn't hope for their remorse. She ensures they see her thriving on her own. That's her ultimate move. Most people find it hard to move on from betrayal. They seek explanations, closure, and hope that the betrayal wasn't intentional. But a Sigma female doesn't see it that way. To her, trust is like a glass mirror. Once it's broken, no matter how many pieces you gather, the image will always be distorted. Even if the betrayer apologizes, promises to change, or shows real regret, it doesn't matter to her. She's already past the emotional attachment. Once she moves on, there's no turning back. She knows that if someone could betray her once, they could do it again. She doesn't believe in learning through pain. She believes in protecting herself and removing toxic influences from her life before they can do more harm. Not all betrayals are alike, but there are some that will instantly make a Sigma female cut ties. Sigma females value honesty above all. They don't demand perfection, but they insist on genuine behavior. If she catches someone in a lie, no matter how small or significant, she's finished with them. A liar is someone she can't ever trust completely, and she doesn't tolerate uncertainty in her relationships, whether with friends, partners, or family. Disloyalty is a deal-breaker for her. Sigma females are inherently loyal and expect the same from others. The moment she feels betrayal in a relationship, be it backstabbing, cheating, or just disrespect, she disappears without explaining why. A Sigma female dislikes being toyed with. She is smart and observant, so when someone tries to manipulate her, she recognizes it straight away. The issue for the manipulator. They often don't know she's caught on until it's too late. She'll play along just long enough to figure out their scheme. Then, suddenly, she turns everything on its head. She reveals their tricks, cuts them off, and leaves them wondering how they were outsmarted so easily. Sigma females prefer a small group of friends, mainly because they have no time for insincere people, those looking to climb the social ladder, or fair-weather friends who only appear when it suits them. If a Sigma female realizes she's being used for someone else's gain, she'll immediately cut ties without hesitation. She doesn't make a big scene. She just quietly exits their life, leaving them puzzled as to why she suddenly stopped answering calls, replying to messages, and acknowledging them at all. Sigma females' tendency to completely detach themselves is often misunderstood. She doesn't react angrily or seek revenge destructively. Instead, she simply distances herself, effortlessly ends relationships, and grows stronger on her own. Anyone who thinks they can betray her and still share in her energy is in for a rude awakening. Once she decides it's over, it truly is, and her silence is the most resounding response they'll receive. A Sigma female doesn't demand respect. She earns it naturally. This subtle yet significant difference sets her apart. Unlike others who crave validation and approval, a Sigma female is in a league of her own. She doesn't rely on outside praise or seek attention. Her presence, demeanor, and vibe naturally command respect without her ever having to ask for it. However, disrespect is something she will never stand for. She doesn't waste time on long arguments, extended conflicts, or trying to explain why someone has overstepped boundaries. That's for people who have time to spare. For a Sigma female, it's simple. She cuts off anyone who disrespects her without warning, negotiation, or second chances. This approach is what makes her so effective. While others get tangled in confrontations, a Sigma female moves in silence, removing negativity smoothly without a fuss. Many people misinterpret Sigma females. They think her quiet, independent nature and detachment from the group mean she doesn't care how she's treated. That's a grave error. A Sigma female will not put up with disrespect just because she isn't outwardly seeking approval. Her self-respect is rock solid, and she has zero tolerance for those who don't respect her boundaries. Unlike more outgoing personalities who might argue or try to reform disrespectful people, a Sigma female is different. She doesn't feel the need to explain why she deserves respect. She expects it to be understood naturally, and if it's not, she doesn't waste time trying to convince anyone. She simply moves on. This isn't about being petty or arrogant. It's about how Sigma females function. They don't tolerate energy drainers, boundary crossers, or those who fail to meet their standards. Simply put, if you can't respect a Sigma female, you don't belong in her life. A Sigma female can easily sense any form of disrespect, even when it's not obvious. She's quick to notice things like backhanded comments, subtle negative behaviors, and changes in people's energy. When she feels disrespected, she quietly starts planning to remove that person from her life. For her, being manipulated is completely unacceptable. She doesn't fall for any tricks or mind games. In fact, trying to manipulate her is the fastest way to lose her trust for good. Why? Because a Sigma female pays close attention, analyzes deeply, and always thinks ahead. She doesn't just hear words, she observes actions, habits, and motives. The moment she detects any dishonesty, she distances herself mentally from the situation. Unlike some who might doubt themselves or keep giving second chances to manipulative people, a Sigma female makes a decision and sticks to it. If you try to deceive her, you're out. Now, let's explore why a Sigma female is resistant to manipulation, the tricks she sees through, and what happens when someone attempts to trick her. Some might think they can manipulate her just because she seems quiet, self-reliant, or aloof. That's a big mistake. They don't understand that Sigma females have a powerful mix of intuition, reasoning, and emotional control, which makes them nearly impossible to fool. She reads between the lines. A Sigma female never just accepts things at face value. She doesn't only listen to what you say, she looks at how you say it, why you say it, and what you're not saying. If someone's compliment seems insincere, she notices. If someone apologizes but doesn't change their behavior, she remembers. If someone tries to make her feel guilty, she checks out mentally. Most manipulators rely on their targets being unaware, naive, or too trusting. But a Sigma female anticipates dishonesty from people until they prove trustworthy. This doesn't make her paranoid, it just means she isn't blinded by emotions. Manipulators usually prey on people who need approval, attention, or affection. They use flattery, gaslighting, and guilt to make their victims doubt themselves. But a Sigma female, she doesn't rely on others for validation. She knows her own value. She isn't concerned if someone disapproves of her decisions. She trusts her instincts. Manipulators often think their victims are too committed, too loyal, or too scared to leave. They believe they can overstep boundaries because the other person will always stay. But a Sigma female, she has no fear of cutting ties. As soon as she feels manipulated, she emotionally withdraws. She doesn't argue or beg. She simply leaves. And once she's gone for good. If someone tries to manipulate a Sigma female, they will soon regret it. Here's why. First, she might pretend not to notice. A Sigma female doesn't react immediately. She observes and listens, letting the manipulator reveal themselves. She won't confront them right away because she wants to see how far the deceit goes. She'll turn the tables. Once she understands the game, she plays it better. She starts using the manipulator's own tactics against them, confusing them. She pretends to be fooled while secretly planning her departure. And when the manipulator thinks they've succeeded, she walks away without a warning. She cuts you off forever. Unlike most people who might give manipulators several chances, a Sigma female gives just one. Once she decides you're untrustworthy, that's it. She won't explain or argue. She just vanishes. And once she's gone, she never looks back. A Sigma female is firm, unemotional, and invulnerable when it comes to manipulation. She sees through every lie, every scheme, and every attempt to control her. She doesn't argue. She simply walks away. She doesn't need closure. Her silence is her closure. What happens when a Sigma female goes into full, fierce mode? This is a side many never expect. A Sigma female might appear calm, cool, and undisturbed most of the time. She doesn't get involved in minor squabbles. She doesn't seek attention. She doesn't waste time proving herself. But when someone crosses her, disrespects her, or tries to manipulate her, that's when she flips the switch. And the change is quiet, yet devastating. When a Sigma female decides she's had enough, she doesn't shout or plead for attention. She doesn't run after anyone. Instead, she does something much more impactful. She leaves. She starts over and flourishes, turning you into just another chapter of her growth. Most expect payback to be noisy and chaotic, but a Sigma female doesn't waste time on drama. She knows that the best response to deceit is to simply walk away quietly. Once she realizes she's been lied to, taken advantage of, or disrespected, she emotionally shuts off. And once she's done, there's no turning back. No second chances, no justifications, no breakdowns, just quiet. And this quiet, it's what shakes people the most. Because when a Sigma female turns indifferent, she doesn't just cut you off, she completely removes you from her life. You vanish from her existence. Your identity, your presence, your impact, all disappear. People are often taught to cling to relationships, to debate, to beg, to insist on closure. But a Sigma female doesn't follow these norms. She understands that leaving silently is the most powerful thing she can do. It shows she doesn't depend on you. The instant she detects unfaithfulness, she's already plotting her departure. She's emotionally strong. While others might respond to hurt with anger, she stays composed and purposeful. She puts her tranquility above all else. If someone disturbs her peace, they're cut off immediately. Here's what many don't grasp about a Sigma female. When she loses something or someone, she doesn't linger on it. She improves her situation. If she loses a job, she finds a better one. If a friend betrays her, she upgrades her social circle. If she leaves a harmful relationship, she flourishes on her own, becoming stronger, more successful, and more self-assured. And the best part? She doesn't broadcast it. She doesn't seek approval. She simply moves on. By the time those who wronged her notice, it's already too late. They see her thriving, succeeding and progressing while they're left behind, puzzled about how they lost someone so indispensable, how a Sigma female manages conflict without falling apart. When most are wounded, they react emotionally. They respond in anger, sorrow, or irritation. But a Sigma female, she does just the opposite. She remains rational and in control. She never lets her feelings lead her decisions. She avoids arguing with those who aren't worth her time. She doesn't justify herself to those who deliberately misunderstand her. She doesn't seek revenge because her success is her best revenge. Instead, she concentrates on her own growth, her ambitions, her future, and that's what makes her truly invincible. When a Sigma female adopts her fierce mode, people learn tough lessons. What happens to those who lose her? They realize too late what they've lost. A Sigma female doesn't leave in a rage. She leaves in peace. And once she's gone, she's truly gone. No warnings, no clarifications, just absence. And this absence, it's deeply felt. Those who underestimated her suddenly recognize that she was the one who truly supported them, the one who was sincere, the one who truly cared. But by the time they realize it, she's already moved on. They watch as she advances without them. The hardest part about losing a Sigma female, seeing her excel without you. She doesn't just get over it, she excels. She becomes more successful, more confident, and more serene. She finds better opportunities, better relationships, and better surroundings that match her value. And the one who hurt her? They're left regretting, stuck in their old ways, wondering why they can't find someone like her. They regret not recognizing her worth earlier. Many people wrongly think that a Sigma female's quietness means she is weak. They assume she'll put up with being disrespected, that she'll always be around, that she forgives quickly. However, when she shows her true strength, they realize their mistake. She's fearless about cutting ties. She's not afraid of being on her own. She doesn't keep people around who don't respect her. This kind of strength often catches people off guard. Let's dive a bit deeper into the core strengths that define a Sigma female. Imagine her in a high-pressure work environment where deadlines are tight and stakes are high. Here's how she thrives where others might falter. Firstly, the Sigma female's ability to remain unflappable under stress is not just impressive, it's practically her superpower. While others might be frantically reacting to the pressure, she maintains her composure, methodically planning her next steps. She's not just doing her job, she's mastering it. This cool demeanor in the face of chaos not only sets her apart, but also inspires respect and confidence from her peers and superiors. Secondly, her decision-making process is sharply refined. She doesn't make hasty decisions. Every choice is weighed and considered with a clear end goal in mind. This makes her a formidable strategist in business, as she navigates complex situations with a clear, focused mind. Her colleagues often wonder how she manages to pull through scenarios with such grace and minimal fuss. Another remarkable aspect is her independent spirit. The Sigma female does not rely on others to validate her choices or dictate her path. She trusts her intuition and knowledge, which often leads to pioneering new projects or ideas that others might not have dared to attempt. This independence isn't just about working alone. It's about leading and inspiring innovation. In conflict situations, while most are quick to engage or confront, a Sigma female takes a different approach. She assesses the root of the conflict and strategically decides if it's worth her energy. If it is, she doesn't just aim to resolve the conflict. She aims to transform it into an opportunity for growth and improvement, both for herself and for the overall team dynamics. Additionally, her resilience is nothing short of awe-inspiring. Rejection and failure are not seen as endpoints, but as stepping stones to greater success. Each setback is analyzed for lessons to be learned, ensuring that she comes back stronger and more prepared than before. Her resilience ensures that she is not just surviving in her environment, but actively thriving and setting new benchmarks. In every setting, a Sigma female turns potential adversities into advantages, always staying ahead of the curve. Her journey is not just about reaching goals, but about transforming the very landscapes she navigates. This relentless pursuit of excellence and growth is what truly sets her apart in the spectrum of personality types, making her an enigma and a force to be reckoned with. The final change: the Sigma female's strongest response. Her fierce response isn't for revenge, it's for her own growth. She takes all that was meant to break her and uses it to make herself even tougher. She transforms pain into strength. She turns betrayal into knowledge. She changes loss into chances for success. By the time she's done reshaping herself, she's new, unstoppable, and invincible. So, if someone thinks they can crush a Sigma female, trick her, or boss her around, they're in for a surprise. You can't break a Sigma female. You only make her stronger. Imagine this. A Sigma female finds out a close friend has been telling lies about her. Does she confront them? Does she call them out? Breeze. She lets their own actions lead to their downfall. While they're busy trying to spin the story their way, she's already moving on, advancing herself quietly. And by the time they realize she's left for good, it's too late. So, if you ever meet a Sigma female, respect her privacy, appreciate her independence, and never ever underestimate her quietness. Because once she embraces her full strength, there's no turning back. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time.